Hi everyone, it's Ashlyn Giza YouTube channel. I'm going to talk about the derecho that happened in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. The reason why I'm going to talk about the derecho that happened is because me and my family were affected by it. So what happened in my eyes that happened in like the way I saw it was I was 8 months pregnant. And I was at home with my two other little ones, Kinnick and Naomi. My oldest daughter had woke me up early that day, and I'm glad she did because usually I kind of sleep until the afternoons. Me and my children would because it was summertime. They didn't have school. I was pregnant too. I was tired. But she woke me up early that day for some weird reason. And of course, to me, I believe in God, so I feel that that was God. But she woke me up to tell me she was going to her boyfriend's house and, that she'd be back later or she would see me tomorrow. So I was going to go back to sleep, but something told me not to go back to sleep because that intuition feeling, that gut feeling. In my previous video, I mentioned that I do ESP and psychic readings on Facebook, and yeah, that was just like one of my feelings, one of my senses. So, nonetheless, I woke up my two other children that were asleep, and I said, "Wake up! It's going to be a bad storm, I think." There's also warnings about it, but the feeling that I had was worse than just a storm, because usually storms here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, like when we get warned about them, it's just like, oh, okay, big deal, it's a thunderstorm, it'll pass. So like usually I don't have that feeling like, okay, I need to wake up my children, we need to like be prepared. I don't have that feeling usually. I let it go. But I had this feeling, so I woke up my children. And then, I heard sticks and, rain and, hail-like stuff hitting my windows and my roof. And, I heard the wind, and I looked out the window, and it was black, pitch black. The wind was going all over the place. I thought it was a tornado. So I said, you guys, you really have to get your clothes on and get things going. Put your shoes on. I don't know what we're gonna do here. And then I get a call from my husband on my cell phone, and I'm like, hello, and he's like, hey, are you and the kids okay? And I'm like, yeah, but what's going on outside? Have you heard anything? And he said, yeah, my friend said it looks really bad, that you guys need to leave and go to the kids' dad's house. I won't mention his name. And I was like, okay, I'm still in my pajamas. What? Okay, I guess I'll do that. I didn't know what to do. So then we get disconnected. Right after we get disconnected, me and my children see a tree come through my roof. It didn't fall all the way through, but it came through the ceiling. Luckily didn't come all the way through. So, I was, of course, like, oh my God, what the heck? And, my kids, were scared. They were crying. They were grabbing me, saying, Mom, what are we going to do? And I was like, I don't know. I think we need to leave. We lived in a mobile home, so we didn't have anywhere to hide really, except for like the bathroom, the tub. But I made a decision to leave. I felt that was the best decision to leave. So here I was. I had to grab my purse really quick and grab my medications and stuff because I was pregnant. And in earlier videos I talk about me being a cancer survivor too, so I needed those medicines. I needed to grab everything really fast and just try to get my kids and try to leave. So I told my kids, I said, go to the car, run to the car. Right now I'm unlocking it. And I'm doing like that with my key thing, and it unlocks the door, and I'm trying to lock my mobile home door really quick and get to the car. As I'm getting to the car, I'm basically walking against the wind. 8 months pregnant, can barely get to the car because I'm fighting against the wind, and it's hard enough to walk when you're pregnant. And my kids were already in the car, so I finally made it to the car, opened up the car door, got in, started it, and started to drive. As I'm starting to drive, there's nowhere to go. There's trees everywhere blocking every road for me to get out of this mobile home park that I lived in. So I'm like driving on this street, notice there's a tree, turning around, driving to another road, a tree, scared as heck, not knowing what to do, thinking in my head, okay, there's gonna be a trees falling, and watch, one's gonna fall on my car. We're gonna die. I don't know what we're gonna do. That's what I was thinking. So I just kept driving, and all of a sudden, again, I said I believe in God, and I believe in Him for many reasons. I mean, if you watch my other videos, I have some crazy stories to tell. I've been through a lot for a person who's only 36 years old. But I'm driving through all these roads, and I finally find an opening. And like I said, I think it was God like opening that road for me. I drove right through between these two houses where you're not really supposed to drive, but I drove right between these two mobile homes and got to an open road and got out of the mobile home park with my kids. And I was driving barefooted. The kids didn't have time to find their shoes. They didn't know where they were, so we were all barefooted. I drove all the way down this road called Centerpoint Road North and made it to this gas station. Thank God, because there was stop signs and road signs flying back and forth everywhere. There was huge tower, like telephone towers that fell down supposedly everywhere else in Cedar Rapids. There was pictures on the internet that I saw. There was like buildings, huge skyscraper buildings that had parts of them busted off, and roofs of people's houses off and or damaged from trees flying everywhere, roots of trees coming out of the ground and tipping the tree over. Like, it was crazy. So I'm driving down this road thinking, oh my gosh, I see everything flying around. Is something gonna hit us? So I'm like, I drive a manual stick shift. So I was flying down this road and got us safe to this gas station, Casey gas station, that thank God was made out of brick and just had a few windows in the front of it like gas stations do, but the restrooms and stuff had no windows back there, so we kind of were standing back in that area in case anything flew. And my husband was at work when this happened, and my other daughter, who went to her boyfriend's house, made it there to her boyfriend's house safe, thank God. And there was no real damage done to her boyfriend's parents' house, so they were safe, thank God. But my husband, he made a terrible mistake, I like to say. Like, he made a really dumb mistake. Not terrible, just dumb. He decided to leave work, and he decided to find me and my kids, like find where we were, and keep calling my phone. And of course, my phone wasn't working because of storm, the derecho, so I couldn't answer him. And then, so my husband decides to find me at the gas station, because I finally was able to answer my phone somehow. And, yeah, like, he finds me and the kids at the gas station. Of course, I'm, like, ecstatic to see him, because I'm so scared from everything that just happened. And, you know, there was other people there that were, like, must have been driving and, like, pulled in thinking, like, I need to get there, because I don't want to, like, die. So, anyways, sorry, I'm kind of out of breath because I had to stop the video really quick and go grab my son, make sure my son was drinking his bottle and whatnot in the crib. So, anyways, yeah, like, back to the derecho. It was crazy. I mean, like I said, trees falling through. I mean, I'm traumatized now. I am traumatized now from that storm. Like, every time there's a storm that comes, like just a thunderstorm or like rain or any of that, I freak out now because I think we're gonna have another derecho in Iowa. I'm scared to death when it storms because that was the worst thing ever, like seeing trees come through your roof. I mean, there was more than one, too. There was like 2 or 3 that we saw. And they, like I said, they didn't come completely through the roof, but like just to see them come through the ceiling, that's scary enough because you know that you have a possibility of dying, or like now that it's passed and it already happened, you think back and you think I could have freaking died. So, I mean, it was scary, and I can't believe it even happened. And I've read about derechos, and I heard that they only happen every like 30 some years if they do happen. But like my mom and my husband's mom and dad, they've never heard of a derecho being here in Iowa, like when they were little or anything. Like in growing up, there was never a derecho. So that came out of nowhere. Like Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Like Iowa is not a place where derechos are supposed to happen. So it was a scary thing for, and when I'm smiling too, it's, just because it's crazy. I'm not smiling, obviously, because what happened. But yeah, I mean, there was a couple people that died too, is what I heard and what I read. They were out, like, riding their bike and people walking, and somebody got, taken out by the derecho. So rest in peace to those people and to other people that got hurt and injured and stuff like that, and who lost their homes, because there were so many other people who lost their homes. Me and my husband ended up losing our home because since the trees came through the roof, we would have had to get that fixed, but we couldn't get it fixed because we were in the middle of looking for an insurance company that would insure our home, but a lot were saying it was too old and stuff like that, so we couldn't get insurance on the home. And then and we were still looking, and then that happened, so we lost our home due to the derecho. And it was tough too because, okay, let me tell you, this is in the middle of a pandemic. I'm 8 months pregnant. This derecho happens. I lose my place. And then me and my husband and my kids had to move in with my mom. And I just told my husband, I said, we're going to end up bringing the baby home here. We don't have the funds to get a home right now. There's no place there's not really other mobile homes selling right now because everybody else is scraping them off the market, because they lost their home too. So we're just going to bring the baby home here. So time went on. We looked for a mobile home, and we found one. And, the rest of my pregnancy was smooth and great, which I'll talk about that in a video some other time. And then we brought the baby home there, and we ended up getting this new mobile home. So we moved into a new mobile home, and, everything was going smooth there and stuff like that until something else happened to that mobile home. But I'm going to tell that story in a separate video from this one because it is a whole nother different story. But anyways, that's what the derecho did to me and my family. It made us lose our home, lose a lot of our stuff, ended up moldy because of the rain that came through our house, and we couldn't get it out, all of it out in time. I know there's people that passed away in Iowa from it, that got injured from it, that lost their home, and I rest in peace to those people, and I'm sorry to the people that lost their homes. And there's still people suffering from losing their homes. There's still people suffering from their homes getting damaged too, like trying to get repairs done to their homes from this derecho. And businesses too. There's a bunch of businesses where their signs got blown over, or something went through them, or just a bunch of businesses that got ruined, and they're still trying to get their stuff together from it. So people in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and like a little out further than Cedar Rapids that this derecho affected, I feel for you. I'm with you. We're gonna get through this, and I know it's been quite a while since that happened, almost a year, but you know, we're still being affected by it, along with this pandemic too. So, you know, it's a lot to take in. Um, so yeah, like I said, it was just a lot being pregnant and then having that derecho take away our house um, during the time of a pandemic. Pandemic, derecho, and pregnant do not mix. So, that's my story on the derecho here in Iowa. I'm still traumatized by it, everything that happened, and I know my kids are affected mentally by it too. We actually are getting some therapy for that, like for being traumatized from that derecho storm. Just seeing those trees fall through our home and everything and all that, and thinking we were gonna die. So it's awful, but yeah, that's my story on the derecho. Kind of a crazy one. It's something nobody ever think would happen to them, but if anybody's had anything like this happen to them, like you know, earthquake, you know, I know earthquakes can happen in like California and stuff like that, different places like that, or a hurricane where you lived or anything like that. Drop a comment below and let me know, and we can talk and relate about it or whatever. I know that there's a lot of people that have been affected by things like that, so I'll keep you in my prayers, and thank you for tuning in to my YouTube channel.